Here comes everyone. So good morning, person. This is the Temple Municipal Court, and I actually will just be kind of doing double duty. I'll be admitting people into the meeting who are showing up, and I have a few people whose audio is not yet connected, but if folks will stay on mute, that actually will assist us in the bandwidth not being challenged, and also so we can hear one another. I want to go ahead and, Mr. Matson, I'm going to go ahead and start your breakout space because I was just watching who logged in, and I see the Leal Law Firm on the Edwin Perez Martinez case. We'll start there. There we are, Kira Leal. And Ms. Leal, if you'll unmute, let me go ahead and begin that pretrial docket. Since I know attorneys that y'all have got the drill down on the rest of this. Mr. Matson, I'm going to go ahead and send you to that room. Folks, I'll explain what I'm doing in just a moment, but moving that Edwin Perez case forward. So just for folks who are here for the first time, a few things that you should know. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you enter a plea, you are giving your answer or response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. And the law presumes that we are not guilty. If we plead guilty or no contest, we're changing that. I just want to remind folks too, if you're in a vehicle, you're not to be driving. Don't drive on the screen. Okay, it's actually an offense. And I have someone named Samsung that appears to be a passenger, but sir, could you unmute and tell me who you are? You unmuted. What's your name?
Alan McCready.
Can you spell the last name?
MCCREADY.
McCready. Okay, got you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me.
Okay, I'll remute you. You're a passenger, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then I had one more person actually that I was not able to that I couldn't identify. One is named Castir, one person with kind of like a teal blouse.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm well, and your audio connected. That's great. I know it didn't connect at first, and you were concerned. I could tell. Are you Miss Casting, or what is your name?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Irma Casting.
Thanks. Just for the purposes of the meeting, I'll change the name for this meeting so that I don't lose track of you. And I'll just make sure that I, since I have the name now,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will know. I will know. And then there was a person named Brittany. And let me find that person. Can you unmute and just tell me your name?
Yes, my name is Brittany Chipman.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chipman. Okay, great. So just a couple of things so that just to get everybody on the same page. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It is an accusation. And I did mention there were three pleading options, but what I want to tell you is just the direction that each plea takes you. So what I'll tell you is that, a plea of guilty is another way of really admitting the offense. You're saying, I did this, I'm moving forward with sentencing. Normally you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. And there are some exceptions to that, and I'll tell you how those work in a moment. I do want to tell you though, that under Texas law, this is a Class C court. So the imposition of fines and costs are the penalties that are here. When people get warrants, they're subject to arrest, but not because they've been found, because they have not completed a court order, or they just failed to appear in the meaningful way that we're required to do from the beginning. So there's two ways to get a warrant. And one reason I highlight that is there's two leading causes for warrants in this type of court. The first one is not keeping your address current. The second one is, not following what you're ordered to do. So what we do today will finally result in something written, whether it's a continuance for some reason or a final order. There's an order there, either final or in the middle, intermediary. And if you don't follow that order and do what is in that order, you can be issued a warrant. So make sure you're asking questions for yourself. If you're here with an attorney, your attorney does that for you. And prior to your plea being accepted, if you wish to meet with an attorney, you may do so. In the Class C court, you get a break on the case. From time-wise, we reschedule you before I accept your plea, and you can meet with an attorney of your choosing. Normally, there's not a court-appointed attorney that happens at that point. And so just be aware that if you're looking to do that, if you're looking to take that break, before I move forward with you today, you want to say, Judge, I need some time. And that's the way to invoke that right, because you do have that right. I'm going to pause here for a moment. Mr. Matson and Ms. Leal, let me ask where we are with regard to this matter. This is considered an accusation for public intoxication on November 5th, and the fines and costs are $296 if they were paid. Where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, there is an offer on the table, and Ms. Leal is going to circle back with me once she's spoken with her client.
Okay, Ms. Leal, what we normally do in this court is just go ahead and schedule that for the final pretrial docket. That is not until February 8th at 1 o'clock. What I would expect is plea bargains are usually dealt with prior to that date. If there's something we need up to that date, we're here in the court to handle it. So you also have the option to come on in. And if the case is unresolved, we come on in and start heading that case toward a trial process. I think you probably already know that, but just I say the same things over and over. And I want to make sure I don't miss the signposts as we go. Do you have any questions before you're leaving today?
No, Judge, the only thing I do want to point out is there are some related cases in county with this, so it might be slightly more delayed than usual. But I'm hoping to get an idea at least of what the timeline is on that before February.
Right. Yeah. So we're more than 60. Well, we're right at 60 days out. And it being kind of, a lower level offense, normally I think it shouldn't be terribly complex, but we'll schedule that for February 8th at 1.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're good to exit. And I'll just keep that docket going. The next person that I had logged in as far as it goes is the Lauren Wilson case, Attorney Wolf. And moving that forward, let's see, Mr. Wolf, Andrew Wolf. Okay, moving you over, Mr. Wolf, and I see you're there and ready. And I saw you unmute earlier. You can go ahead and unmute. Let's make sure your audio's connecting.
I'm here, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, moving you on over now. So as I was saying, and Mr. Matson, that moved as well. And just keep those files up on top. And so what I want to tell you too then is guilty is, again, admitting that offense, moving into sentencing. I'm just going to talk about that in a moment in connection with all the various pleas. If you enter a plea of no contest, you're not contesting it. So sometimes people say nolo contendere or no contest. It's the same thing. Not contesting the charge, not admitting the charge, not denying it. Just not contesting means you're moving forward without admitting or denying the charge. And normally that means sentencing, paying those fines and costs, having it go on the record. There are exceptions along the way. And again, I will talk about those just briefly in a moment. If you enter a plea of not guilty, you are moving towards trial. And it doesn't mean a lot of difference really, other than the process that we're following shifts. So we're shifting that case toward, that presumption of innocence, maintaining that innocence, but moving that case toward a trial, because ultimately when you plead not guilty, you are saying, I want the state to prove this case against me. Well, maybe want is too strong. You're saying state, prove your case. Okay. So you have the right to demand that happen, but that means that we come to court and do that trial. Okay. And that trial, there's a lot of signposts along the way that we need to hit. And so we have a pretrial today. Sometimes the cases are resolved at this level. Sometimes they're not. I don't really have an opinion about that. I'm just moving those cases through the process as I am supposed to, with your rights along the way, yours and the state's rights along the way. So we'll have this pretrial today. This is online. That's convenient. It also right now keeps people a little less likely to catch flu and what have you that's out there. We've got a lot of things going around now. And it's winter, it's the season, right? So, and a happy holiday to everybody, but this is nice and convenient. We do have to move the cases into the courtroom when we're heading toward trial because we have juries that come in and those things. I mean, while we're authorized to do certain things online, I think that the right to a trial is really one of those things that needs to be done live. So we do those here. And so the next step is the final pretrial here in the building. That's going to take about an hour once you're here. It could take less. We schedule it for an hour. We have a few people on each docket and we move that thing forward to schedule trial. So it is not the trial. And I just want to highlight that. That should be in your paperwork already, your date. Before you leave today, I'll remind you of that date and time or ask before you go. But, we're just looking to see, we're sorting things out. Some things don't need that level of attention and some things do. And again, I don't really have an opinion about that, but I want you to understand what's happening. Okay. So that's the not guilty docket, and it does kind of peel off in a different direction. If you're pleading guilty or no contest, or you've already got your case moving through, either we're talking about problems with the judgment or problems with the order, or we're doing this for the first time. So if it's the first time, we're looking at the case, moving it forward. And what I want to tell you a few things about the ways that you can be found not guilty, still gain a dismissal on a plea of guilty or no contest from the judge. So I'm going to tell you what those are, and then I'll just give you a brief overview of how each one works and what my duties are and your duties are as we move through that. So, sorry, I just had somebody, it's 9:20 and I've had somebody just started asking to be let in, and I do want to do that. So I'll let them come on in, but I needed to see who they were. Okay. So before I do that, Mr. Mattson, oh, I thought they moved back in. So, okay. So first of all, with payment of fines and costs, we did ask, or the staff here probably asked you to fill out an income information sheet. It's 2 pages. That sheet gets used several ways. Okay. And I will ask for it on absolutely every case because I need that information for almost every case. I usually will need it. If I'm sentencing you, I do need it. If you're asking for a continuance, I do require it. If you are being sentenced, I need it unless you're paying everything all today. If you are on the not guilty docket, I did ask for it because at some point I'm scheduling a bond on that case. And I am trying to find out what should the bond be. And, with regard to the bond, I'm looking at it, but it doesn't mean that I think you're guilty. It just means that, like all courts, I'm looking at your income information and deciding the bond. So I don't really ask people to fill out 7 forms to get the exact same information, 1 form to rule them all. Okay. To me, the simpler the things are, the easier it is for you and for me. There's really no reason to scan something 7 different times into a file unless changes happen that need that, to happen. But otherwise, if the information stays the same, we collect it at the beginning, it's relatively easy. So Mr. Mattson and Mr. Wolf have jumped back into the meeting. I think Mr. Mattson, there he is, and Mr. Wolf. Just can y'all give me, you two, an update? I know we had 3 cases, and I believe they are all on. Oh, they're not all on the pretrial today. Okay. The one that's on the pretrial for today is a speeding charge, and fines and costs are $254, and that is from November 23rd of 2022. And I believe that's the only one that is with Mr. Wolf at this time. Is Mr. Wolf on all of those cases?
Judge, yeah, the Melissa let me know that there were those other 2 cases.
Okay.
And so I just emailed in. She said that would be sufficient.
Okay.
And I am here on all 3. And we have a plea offer that's been made, and I feel very confident we'll be able to get that done before the next pretrial.
Okay. Well, that next pretrial is February 8th at 1. And so that should be plenty of time to see if it's resolved or not. And we'll just go in that direction. Is Melissa out today? I believe Miss LaBoy is out today. And so I will get that all squared up probably the moment she gets back. If it went straight to her, sometimes there's a day or 2 before I see it. But if you're saying to me you're on all 3 cases, I'll docket it accordingly and we'll move forward, and I'll get the piece of paper here shortly. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
where we
Thank
are?
you.
You're on all 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm just making a note for them to check for that email, because sometimes it can go to 2 different places. And keep you straightened out. And do you have any questions, Mr. Wolf, before you leave today?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your time, and you're good to exit.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Thank you.
Right. And just moving, Mr. Mattson, I'll move you forward with Mr. Swain. Let's see. Mr. Swain, you're ready to move forward, I see.
Yes, sir.
And there y'all go. So just folks, back to the dismissal. Oh, so the income information that I asked for, I'm looking at that in connection with sentencing too. And sometimes folks can't pay everything. Sometimes I need to make adjustments. You know, I'm using that information a lot of different ways, and generally speaking for your benefit. So, you know, to help make things, I'm not interested in making a court order that is impossible, but at the same time, I have to be a judge about it. So, you know, more information is really helpful, but I have the right to ask for the information unless you're just paying your ticket, in which case you're not probably in this meeting, because these are the folks who are interested in their case, is how I see it. So these are folks who bothered to come in. So I want to give you more information rather than less, because once I do that, things run more smoothly. Plus I give everybody the same exact information. I call this the 101. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is just the 4 ways that dismissals work from the bench. On a plea of guilty or no contest, there's still 4 ways to keep something off your record. And they were on the form that you filled out, but some of it you may have understood, some of it you might not have understood. And as judge, I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you how things work. So in terms of, I can't apply it to your case, and that's really the difference. So a couple of things that I want to let you know. First, and I just want to remind folks to stay unmuted, because if everybody unmutes all at once, we can't hear one another. You won't hear me. And then when it's your turn, you won't be heard. So I have a couple of people who just keep unmuting themselves. Miss Riggs, stop unmuting yourself, because I've had to mute you 5 times. And it just creates a conflict for everybody else. And I know you're late to the meeting. You're not on screen. I really don't know who you are. I don't have any judgments about it, but I've asked everybody to stand muted, and I'm just going to ask that be respected, please. When it's your turn, you'll have a turn, and you won't be muted during your turn unless you're screaming. We don't do that in court, and that's true for everybody here. So anyway, back to the dismissal options. So those are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. So just quickly from the top. Compliance dismissals, those are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. The law has to specify that can happen, and then you have to meet the conditions of each type. So like an example would be you're driving down the road, you turn on your blinker, you turn, officer stops you and says you didn't turn on your blinker, and you're thinking, but I did, I know that I did that. So through investigation, you look, you see, and what you find out is, hey, it was broken. So the officer writes you for your blinker being broken. And you come to court on time, requirement to be on. You prove that you fixed it. We dismiss it as a defective equipment. And that's $10 instead of like $200. So everyone would probably want to do that if they could. So I presume if you have something like that, you want to do it that way. And I start looking to see, hey, can we get this person to that? And the law says the judge shall, which I take to mean I'm walking you through it because there's no way you know all the details. Okay. So I'll start asking you those questions if it's something like that. You are welcome to ask me about that. If I'm not moving you towards a dismissal and you're thinking, is this one of those cases? You can ask me that question, ask me about it. If you feel like you don't know what I'm doing or why, or you're concerned, or you think I've missed something, you can ask about it. We just both will stay very respectful of one another, but I will listen and I'll do my best to explain. But if it's something I can't answer because it would be legal advice, I will let you know, hey, I can't answer that. Here are your options. Okay. So don't be scared to ask questions. Okay. Because once we're moving forward, you miss the opportunity maybe to do that. So, and some people are not interested in doing that. So I don't really know wheat from the chaff on that. You've got to let me know. 2, if you have a moving violation, you can sometimes gain a dismissal through a driving safety course option. You have to be qualified. The offense has to be qualified as well. You have to meet the conditions of the program to get in it, and then you have to successfully complete it. I will walk you through it. Everything will be in writing. You will have written directions for how to complete it so that you can successfully do so. I'll automatically assume that you want or would be interested in that program because it keeps it off your record and it saves you money. Let me talk a little bit about money, which is not anyone's favorite topic, but let me talk to you about money because I'm supposed to. So every ticket, like if you called the clerk and you said, how much is this ticket? And maybe the clerk said $244. So that number represents several things, and you can break that number down like a bunch of different ways. But one very important way that you could break that down is court costs and fines. Court costs, these are distinguishable. Court costs are set by the Texas legislature and fines are set by the judge of the court. That would be me. In the driving safety course option, you pay the court costs, the fine goes on hold. You turn in your course and your record on time. Your ticket gets dismissed and the fine is waived. So you only pay the court costs, which are required by law. I cannot waive them, adjust them, or change them because only the legislature can do that. Okay. And you do pay for your class and your record, but it's still going to be less expensive than the whole ticket, but it's off your record and you saved money. So I will let you know if you have something like that. I will start moving you towards that program. If you don't want to do that program, I understand. Let me know. Hey, I really don't want to do that. Because I tend to presume some things about people. I presume people want to save money. I presume people are concerned about their record. I don't know which is the most important thing to each person. For some people, it's a low-level concern. For some people, it's a high-level concern. And so I don't really know until you're talking for yourself about that. But I make a presumption that it's interesting to you. And so on a moving violation, I'll start looking to see if you're qualified automatically without you asking me to do so. So then the second one or third one, excuse me, is called a deferred disposition. Deferred disposition, 2 words. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to make final. I wait I put an order in place. That order controls what you have to do to gain a dismissal. It is listed on the paper that you will sign. I will sign. In some cases, the prosecutor will sign. If you do the listed things, you get a dismissal. Okay, so it's a known outcome. On a plea of guilty or no contest in a Class C court, you may ask the judge for a deferred. You may also ask the prosecutor if he is willing to agree to a deferred in a pretrial, but directly from the bench. Unlike other types of courts, you can ask directly from the judge, and that is different. Attorneys know this probably, but when you get into Class B courts and higher, you have to ask the prosecutor and work through the prosecutor's office. In a Class C court on a guilty or no contest plea, you may ask the judge, guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred, and the judge is required to consider it. Okay, it doesn't mean the judge is required to grant it. However, I'll listen each and every time because that's my duty under the law. So that's the third option. But what I want to highlight there is you're the one requesting it. Unlike the other two where the law says the judge shall, you're making that initiation. Okay. So you're asking. And then finally for teen court, with teen court, that's a little bit like a deferred in a way. I do presume that you're interested in it. The things that you do are slightly different from deferred and the timetables are different, but there's a list of things that you're going to be doing to gain a dismissal of the offense. That's how teen court would work. So that's really the 101. Those are the 4 ways to gain a dismissal directly from the bench on a plea of guilty or no contest. Otherwise, we're just moving forward with payment of funds and costs. I don't have other options that are hidden. I don't have special friend options at all. I have to actually get a different judge. If I actually know you too well, then I have to get somebody else to hear that case. So these are the things, and I just like to lay them out on the table for everyone so that we're all on the same page and everybody knows, what's available to them. I can't answer for you, how will this work in my case? What impact will this have on other things? Those are legal type questions. You have to ask a lawyer those questions if you don't know. Okay. Mr. Matson, let's take you and Mr. Swain. Can we start with the back case first?
Yes, Your Honor. I can actually just tell you that both cases have an offer that Mr. Swain is going to take back to his clients.
Okay. Back and Bennett Moret are both scheduled for January 18th at 2, and we'll just plan to either have those resolved prior, or we'll see everybody here in the court otherwise. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swain. You're good to exit.
Thank
And
you.
Yes, you're very welcome. Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward. Cadane case, and Mr. Warren is here on that case. And let me make that movement and let y'all move on in. Mr. Warren, it looks like you're connected. Can we hear you?
Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
perfect. All right, moving you on. I'll break out space with Mr. Matson. And I'm also going to move forward and let's see, just clean up a little bit and ask a couple of quick questions. Just a quick question. Alan McReady is here, I believe. Yes, great. I got you down. But Elisa Condarco, are you here? And Colby Collier, is anyone here on the Colby Collier case? On the Cindy Pritchard case?
I'm present for Miss Pritchard, Your Honor. Darmisha Slay, attorney.
Okay, Slay, great. That's why we call it. Gotcha. Okay, we'll be with you shortly. I saw the name and I think I attributed the name to a different case. So I'm glad you spoke up. Thank you. And Adam Atkinson, is there anyone here on that case? Okay. Let's see. Let me just organize for a quick moment. Maybe. Okay. And I will move forward then with Rebecca Dutton. Rebecca Dutton, you're here. Please excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm well, in spite of the allergies. In just a moment, let me get you all pulled up and see where we are. We did get a request for team. I am inclined to grant it. Let me look a little bit deeper because I know we've done team once before. Okay. I am only allowed to grant team court once every 2 years. So we're not able to do it. You can do a driving safety course option. You would have to pay the court costs. Let me double check the speed and make sure it's eligible. Yes, it's eligible. Sorry. The court costs are, what are they? Are we sure? Is it in school zone? It doesn't say on there. Is that the old one or the new one? November 14th. It is. Let's double check that. Let me see the ticket because it doesn't say it on yours either. And it's just one moment. There's a coding issue with the code, and I just want to make sure that we're proceeding on the right thing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have it correct? I see that, but we're just going to have to. Okay. It's correct in our system. The costs and fines, while $279, that have to get paid in the driver safety course are $169. Are you able to pay that today?
No, I'm not able to pay that.
Okay. I see you are working. And who pays your insurance?
My dad pays my insurance on my car.
Okay. Is he aware of the ticket?
Yes.
Okay. So have you talked to him about the possibility of
He wants me to take full responsibility of paying the ticket, but I don't make enough money per paycheck to pay it. And I just got paid on Friday and it wasn't enough to pay the full ticket.
Right. If I give you some time to court costs of $169, you would still be able to be off of your record. Are you asking for that today?
I don't mind if it's on my record. So I don't, it's okay if it's on my record.
Insurance. Okay. All right. Okay. So you don't want to do the driving safety course option. So I'll look at your income. You're not paying the insurance then, is that right?
No, I'm not paying insurance. I only pay for gas.
All right. And you're paid every 2 weeks?
Yes.
And you were just paid what day?
The 9th.
So every other Friday?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to be closed on the, that's your next pay date. If you sign today, That means we can just go ahead and start you on January and paying $25 every 2 weeks.
Okay.
You can always pay more, just not, don't skip a payment. If I email this to you, can you sign and print it, sign it with your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we will email that to you sometime this morning, looking to get it back to you before close of business today. Signed, and then you're ready to ship that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Dutton.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Matson, I know that you and Mr. Warren had an opportunity, I think, to talk about the Cadane case. And where are we with regard to that? I'm not really sure I'm saying that name correctly, so we can start there.
Your Honor, I believe you pronounced me correctly.
Okay, I would not guess on the first name. It's a cool looking name, but I don't think I could say it. Okay, so speeding charge allegation date is October 30th. Fines and costs are $264. Where are we with this case?
Your Honor, my client was going to change her plea to guilty and request deferred adjudication.
And have you and Mr. Matson talked about that?
Yes, Your Honor, we have.
Mr. Matson, is the state opposed?
No, Your Honor. I have the terms ready when you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
It's a 120-day deferral
Okay,
with driver safety course by day 60.
okay,
And Mr. Warren's client can pay the fine amount in full within the first 30 days.
okay. All right, so what I have here is a deferred that ends April 13th. Driver safety course by February 14th. Payment no later than January 17th. Those error give or take a day or two. Mr. Warren, I like to keep those dates on dates when I know I will be here in case anyone calls with questions, and I can troubleshoot if I need to. Is everyone in?
No.
Yeah, Ms. Riggs, please. I don't know what's happening, but you just need to keep the mute on. Mr. Warren, I'm sorry, Mr. Matson, we can go ahead and generate that on your motion and send that to Mr. Warren. Will that work for you?
That sounds great, Your Honor.
Mr. Warren, if I send this to you, can you print it, email it? I'm sorry, print it, sign it, and email it back this morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great, then we'll just get that done this morning, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. You're free to exit, Mr. Warren, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward with the Cindy Pritchard case, and I do have Darmesia Slay here in the meeting.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Representing Ms. Pritchard. Okay, there we go. That should move y'all over. Okay, and I'm moving forward then with Monica Nelson. Oops. That was interesting. That got disconnected. There she goes. She's coming back in. Right when it was her turn too. We'll get her connected. And audio is connecting as well. Ms. Nelson, can you unmute? And good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Hi, Ms. Nelson. How are you this morning?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. I do have your file here, and I did receive a request for community service and 2 charges. December 12th of 2018, a speeding charge, and I did receive a plea of no contest. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then another plea on a charge was filed for violating the promise to appear. It's a not coming to court on time type of charge. We just filed a 1 charge. that was filed. And I'm asking if your plea is no contest on this paper, but how are you pleading? Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I did read the note that you were kind enough to give me. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry for all the things that have been challenging for you. It's a lot.
Thank you so much. It is.
Yeah. So I can approve community service and recall your warrants today.
Thank you so much.
I do hold the license until we clear the cases, because that's just the policy of the court, generally speaking, until everything is completed. I would go ahead in your circumstances and actually give a higher rate on the hours for community service. So,
Sorry.
Ms. Riggs, I'm gonna ask you to call back when you get your situation under control. It's too much. If you were doing this in court, you would be asked to leave. So get your situation under control and call back in. Do that quickly, within the next 10 minutes, and I'll keep your place in line. But I don't think you're ready to be in the setting. Ms. Nelson, that turns into 28 hours. I did use $30 an hour in your case, given your circumstances. And I just made note on the sheet, but if we could make note on the actual order so that we keep track of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And that, are you in Killeen now or Florida? Because I know you were maybe in Florida at one point.
Yes, I'm in Killeen.
Okay, you can do community service over there, but I want to caution you that you need to verify. Do we have our change in place yet? Okay. If you don't use the list that I'm providing, I do allow community service in other communities. You're going to be required, though, to prove that the other provider is a nonprofit and get the court's approval before we start. I have too many people going somewhere that is not actually a nonprofit. And there's two problems with that. I can't accept it. Well, three. One is I can't accept it. Two is they've unfortunately wasted their time. And three, I think it's kind of predatory of those places to claim to be a nonprofit when they aren't one. So we're just going to try to take a step back. We have a form that you can have, and it allows you fill it out. You get it approved, and then we say, okay, now you're good to use that provider. So I'm going to say to you, we'll send you all of that. There's one page for you to sign for the community service. And then there's a form to get filled out with that provider. And it means that you're just verifying with them that they really are what they say they are. So that
Yes,
when
ma'am.
providers come in, they count.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll send that to you.
Do you have a list of providers? I'm not from Texas and I don't know where to begin.
Right. I have a list of providers in the community over here, and then there's like a couple in Belton. These are places that have agreed to be on the list. There are other places that qualify, lots of them, actually. Nursing homes, churches, city type services, food banks. Those are usually nonprofits. What I find is that someone maybe filed their nonprofit status a decade ago, never renewed it, and they're still functioning that way, but it isn't one anymore. And so, I have to call it somewhere, and I'm going to call it on approvable nonprofit. So there'll be a list of rules with some suggestions, a list of places where you can go, and a form to use if you're leaving that list. so that you're not wasting your own time.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Plus a timesheet to keep track of your hours.
Okay.
All right, so we'll email that to you if you can print it and sign it and send back the one form. Or you can swing by the office today and get copies of everything. What will work best for you?
Okay.
What will work best for you?
You can email it to me and then I can email it back, right?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. All right, we'll use the email that you provided for the meeting today. Does that work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Nelson, with the thanks of the court, you'll be free to go. Do you have any further questions before you leave?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nelson. Okay. Matson, you and Ms. Slay were talking about the Pritchard case. Where are we with regard to that case?
Your Honor, Ms. Slay has an offer for her client that she'll be taking back, and we will reconnect when she's had a chance to discuss it.
Okay, we scheduled the final pretrial already. It's already been scheduled for January 18th at 2, and that was in the information that we sent over. But just a reminder, Ms. Slay, we'll either, if it's not resolved, then we're here in the court looking at it together. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you, Your Honor.
yes, ma'am. Do you have any further questions before you exit?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're good to go.
Have a good day, Judge.
And you too.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Matson, you're moving forward with Lynn Guthrie. I did want to tell you though that we did get a new charge. And let me just check on something because it just came in yesterday. Is it entered yet? On Guthrie? Yes, ma'am. It's the same thing, but I'm just checking to see if it's there. It'll be kind of optional whether y'all want to address it or not if it's entered. LYNN. You had the last name. Yes. Sorry, that list, are there 3 things listed? Okay. Right, there's a new charge for the same thing, the offense date. Let me get it back open, just real quickly. It's just a review because all those cases are getting reviewed first. I just want the case offense date. Yes. November 9th. November 9th or December 9th. Okay. I don't know the reason why that just came in, but there you go. Sometimes that happens. And the fines and costs there are $576. And it's an outside storage charge. So there are 4 cases. All right, I'll move y'all over to the meeting for pretrial.
Thank you, Judge.
If I can get the system to let me do it. There we go. Okay. Thomas Denauer, are you able to get your self on screen and unmute, please? Mr. Denauer? Kylie Teal, let's go ahead and move forward with you. Can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. I did receive your information today, thank you. And this is a possession of tobacco by a minor. The allegation date is October 27th. If you paid it, the fines and costs are $181. I did receive a plea of guilty. And I did receive a request for teen court. I do have a teen court. Give me one moment. Let me ask the teen court coordinator a quick question, okay? How many? I know we usually have openings for. What's the composition on that particular one? Okay. And there are 4 criminal cases. I think I want to just move her forward with the class. Okay. So I was just talking to her about options because I take a little bit of a tip guidance from my juvenile case managers. And just the letter that you wrote, I think I'll move forward with teen court now and not schedule you for coming in for teen court. There's 2 different ways that we do teen court. And I think the best scenario for yours is to just move you forward with sentencing today so that you're moving forward with your case. With teen court, there's a $20 fee. Is that a fee that you can pay today?
Yes.
Okay. And then there'll be a tobacco awareness class, I think. I do want to quickly, I forgot to ask you, I did receive all your juvenile forms, and I know that you read them, and you and Dad, I believe, signed them. Really, the main thing is, of course, right to get an attorney if you want to. You also need to know that you need to keep your address current until your case is completed. The way you do that is in writing. We'll make a court order today, and you want to follow that court order or come back in and talk to me if you can't. And, you have the right to keep this off your record. Now with teen court, there would be a dismissal if you complete it. If you want the whole thing completely erased, you can apply after you've completed teen court and ask that it be removed from your record. It's unlikely that this record would really have a big impact, but you're 18, so it's a little bit different, but there is a dismissal with teen court. What I would ask you to do for teen court would be really to take a tobacco awareness class. That's really, I think, what you would do no matter how we approach it, unless Dad thinks there's something more appropriate. Every now and then I'll have a parent tell me, well, really, it's a marijuana problem. This is the minor thing that's happening. But normally tobacco is a really dangerous product. I mean, I know it's for sale. The age changed recently. That's a step in the right direction. I have strong feelings about it because my mother died and part of her death was complicated by tobacco and a lifetime of smoking. And she started smoking quite young. And so it's a slow death, that addiction. And it's very difficult to quit. Once you get the hook of that, it's extremely difficult to let it go. So I would like you to get some awareness early. It's not just becoming aware of it, it's really understanding what it means to become a lifelong smoker and why you don't want that. And really the best way is avoidance. So I would say, let's do a tobacco class, but Dad, am I in the right direction?
That sounds really good.
Okay, Kylie, what do you think?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, you seemed motivated in your letter to me. I appreciate it. Okay, and so we'll do a tobacco awareness class. And what we're going to do is I'm going to need you to come up today to pay your teen court fee and sign your teen court forms. And you're 18, so you don't have to have a parent with you, but I encourage it always. Parent involvement is actually great because you're less likely to have further problems if you have a parent or two involved in your life. And so you're welcome, Dad, to come with her or not as you choose schedules and everything. On the Dunauer case, we'll be right back with you, but you know, I called it and I moved forward and I'm gonna come back to you. But y'all stay on mute, please, while I work with the next person. So Kylie, what time can you be here today?
How far is it?
Same place that we were last time, so it's downtown Temple.
Okay, so probably 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Don't rush because, you know, clerks have a lot to do. But anyone at the front desk can help you and it should be relatively quick.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll have everything there for you to sign. Your due date on your class though is gonna be the 17th of January. And what are my options, 8 to 12? Let's do 8. It's an 8-hour class.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll see you shortly, okay? You all have questions before you leave?
No, I don't.
Okay. When you're here at the window, if you have questions, ask, and if they need to get a question to me, they can get a question to me, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Mattson, let me get Mr. Guthrie back over. And after this case, I'll take the Thomas Danauer case if they'll answer. You know, if you put it on a meeting and you walk out of the room and I call your name, you might miss your chance. If you were in court, you wouldn't get to do that. Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, it'll be your turn in a moment. I've said it a couple of times. Just stay on mute until I call your case, but I'm letting you know I'm about to do that. I'm talking with Mr. Mattson and Mr. Guthrie. Where are we on these cases?
Your Honor, we're going to continue forward to final pretrial for the time being,
Okay,
but there is a possibility that these cases will be resolved prior to that date.
okay. All right. Final pretrial is the 8th of February at 1 o'clock. So we'll plan to be here or have everything resolved by then. Mr. Guthrie, what we'll do is just automatically schedule that new case onto that docket. Okay, all right, and that kind of keeps everything moving and you're not having to juggle dates. Okay, we'll see everybody on or before that date, February the 8th at 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Carson.
All right. Mr. Mattson, I'll move you forward and your next person is Alan McCready. And Mr. McCready, I know you're in a car, but you're not driving, so I'll allow you to go ahead and move forward. Okay, Mr. Danauer, can you answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, we've had community service and previously, let's see.
And I tried to get on community service, but they said they didn't have nothing for me to do because I'm in a wheelchair.
Okay. The physician's assistant that wrote the letter just said that, you know, you couldn't do anything weight bearing. So I got a letter from your physician's assistant. This is back in 2021. And it just said that, you know, you could do community service as long as it was not weight bearing. But you're telling me something different. What's going on?
Well, I just can't stand, and I'm in a walker with a, you know, one of them seat walkers. And I called a couple of them places and I went to one of them and they told me I didn't tell them I had to be sitting down, but they didn't have nothing for me to do. They said.
Okay. Are you able to get on the screen?
Huh?
Can you start your video?
I'm here.
I hear you. Can you start your video?
I started it. I
don't-
started it.
I don't see you. You're not on the screen.
Oh. I don't know. I can hear you. I can see you.
Yeah, that means your camera works. Sometimes people don't know how to get their camera to come up to see them. Is there anyone there who can help you?
Did it work now?
No. Okay. Can you tell me who you called, like where you tried to go?
I can barely hear you.
Where did you call to try to do community service?
I called the Park District and the city and Goodwill and I don't know, 3 or 4 of them on there. And they told me if I was sitting down all the time, they didn't have nothing for me to do at the time.
When was this?
Back when you first gave me that list to call. They send me a list in the mail.
Okay. Goodwill hasn't been on my list since 2015, so I don't know how you got Goodwill, but. Okay. All right, Mr. Denauer, I'm gonna go ahead and waive your community service. And I do not show that you could make payment. I don't think that you can. So I'm gonna waive your fines and costs at this time.
Okay.
Okay, that's gonna take a few days to clear. And then you'll be done, okay?
Will I get a letter in the mail?
No, but you can swing by and get one if you want one.
I need one to get my driver's license. They said I can't get one until I get a letter from you saying I took care of it.
Yeah, that's not a letter from me. We actually clear it with the state. And that actually, I can send it in the next day or two, but it will take them approximately a couple of 2 to 4 weeks to clear with them.
Yeah, because I can't drive to get my cancer treatment. I missed 2 or 3 of them because I can't get my driver's license.
Yeah, well, I mean, the answer to that was not to have gone to Warren. I'm not trying to be cold, but you seem to be blaming me and you really, you know.
No, I'm not blaming you. It's my fault.
This has been pending since 2018 and you have not been easy to communicate with. So I'm gonna do what I can do, but I can't make the state of Texas clear it faster than sending it today or tomorrow and having them. do the-
I understand, ma'am.
Listen carefully to me.
I appreciate everything you do.
Listen to me, listen for a moment, please. I will send it to them today or tomorrow. They will take quite a while to clear. So look for an alternative method to get to your treatment so that you can get to your treatment, okay? Until you can get your license. Okay? Let's go ahead and fast track that.
Is that all, Miss Peterson?
It's Judge Person, and yes, that's all. I just want you to understand that you'll need to be looking on their website to see if you've cleared with them.
All right.
And don't wait for a letter to arrive. Check every day there, but I would say start in 3 to 5 days because it doesn't, I send it electronically, but the state of Texas, that system, it is known to take a while.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, Mr. Manson, I know you and Mr. McCready were visiting. Where are we with with the stop sign charge?
We are going to continue to final pretrial, Your Honor.
Okay, we've already scheduled that for February 8th at 1 o'clock. And we will see everybody here in the courtroom. Mr. McCready, sorry, you're still muted. Do you have questions?
Yes, ma'am. Is my warrant all taken care of?
Your warrant will be lifted today. If
They,
it's- I'll
for
have
some
the
reason,
check
for,
on that. I'll have the clerk check on that and make sure, but that doesn't clear any hold on the license. A warrant is just that, a warrant. A hold on the license, and it would appear maybe that we have one. I haven't checked. Let me. look.
you're saying my license is suspended?
No, what you need to, no, I'm not saying that at all. That's like a whole different question, that.
Okay.
Okay, there's a lot of different things. One thing that can happen is a warrant can get issued. If that warrant sits for too long, a hold can be placed on the license. That hold can trigger a suspension. I'm not seeing the hold. I'm asking the clerk to double check it.
They had my address wrong. And all the communications, didn't come to my house.
Right, but see, like, just to school you a tiny bit, because, you know, the law says that I need to at this point. Your ticket had your court date on it.
Yes.
And when you miss that court date, I mean, there's a duty to keep your address current and to appear on time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so just keep it up to date now. And,
Absolutely.
you know, the court date was on that ticket that you're handed at the side of the road. That's where the court date it was. The letters that happened after that were courtesy letters.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, hey, hurry, please come in, we've got a problem. But really the issue is with not showing up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we will recall your warrants. I don't have a hold on your license at this time. So anything I'm doing right now should not have triggered a suspension.
Excellent.
The suspension gets triggered after the warrant sits and the hold gets placed. And then there's a potential for suspension, like the gentleman that was right ahead of you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all are good to exit on this matter, and we'll see.
I greatly appreciate your time, and happy holidays.
Thank you, same to you. Mr. Watson, I think, I'll double check this statement in just a quick second, but I think that your last person, Mr. McReady, you're good to exit when you want. But Mr. Mattson, Julie Riggs is your next person. Some difficulty with her system, just, I don't know, unmuting, and now I don't have, I get that there is no sound. There's no connection. Ms. Riggs, can you hear us? Can you say hello? So I'm going to remove that person and just hope that they can connect. It's just been very difficult all morning because about every 10 minutes, her system or she, I don't know, but it would unmute and then there was screaming in the background and kids and noise and no attempt to communicate about why that was happening. And I would say, please don't do it. And then it would just keep happening in the middle of the next person's case. So I actually asked her to dial back in and she did. And now there was no sound. So maybe we can get it so if you'll hang out a little bit longer, please, maybe she'll log back in.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm going to move forward with Deshaun Roberts. Deshaun Roberts, can you unmute and get on screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll be right with you. Let me see if I can get Ms. Riggs connected. Deshaun, I'll tell you right now, all I see is just a screen with nothing on it from you.
It's dark in here.
Well, why don't you turn on the light?
there's no light in here.
Step outside
You want me to go outside?
if your device can do it. You know,
I got you. Hold on.
okay, Miss Riggs, let me go ahead and, well, still have no audio. That's better, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, man.
You're good, Dan.
I'm good right here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just mind me the rings. It is massage time.
We'll have to say that doing that over your television is not gonna work for the court.
Yeah, I'm finna turn it off right now.
That's one way to put it.
There you go.
Okay, so I have several cases with you. There is a handicap parking charge. Fines and costs are by law $519. Hang on just a moment. I'm only communicating with Ms. Riggs through chat. Hold on. Yes. I'm just saying that. She is connecting to audio. Okay. Ms. Riggs, I'm just seeing that you're in a hospital. You're muted. Can you unmute? Can you unmute? Okay, there we go. All right. You appear to be in the hospital. You appear to be unwell. I think that we need to reschedule you.
Okay.
Okay, can you give me just some idea of when you might feel better? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm gonna be here probably for about 6 days.
Okay, all right. What's wrong?
I have a blood infection.
Okay, all right.
And that's what happened the last time I was here. I didn't know I was gonna be here that long, and I had my dog with me. And I ended up staying longer than anticipated, so they took my dog because she was in the truck.
Gotcha.
I thought I
Okay.
was just coming in for blood work. That's it.
Yeah, I can't get into the case right now,
Okay.
but I can reschedule it for when you're gonna feel better. So
Okay.
right now I'm looking at the 27th of December, but I think we need longer. What's after that? Why don't we go for January 3rd?
Okay, that'd be
Can we use the email we used to set this up? Is that the right email that we used for today?
okay.
Okay, we'll use the same email. I'm gonna disconnect you.
January 3rd at what time?
9 o'clock.
I don't know. I'm in the hospital, so I have no idea.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. We'll use the email. We'll use the email that we used to send the meeting for today. We're gonna send it to the same email.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Hanson, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I just wanted to confirm that Adam Atkinson Colby Collier, and Elisa Condarco were the 3 no-shows today.
Yes, and Colby Collier, we have Mr. Blythe.
I had that as well.
Okay, all right, you're good to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts?
Yes, ma'am.
Back to you. So I have a plea of no contest on the parking and handicap spot. Then I have a no driver's license charge. It has fines and costs of $181. How are you pleading to that charge?
I'm guilty.
I have a failing to control speed from November 26th. The fines and costs are $264. How are you pleading to that charge?
I'm guilty.
And then a no insurance from that same incident, I guess accident. Fines and costs are $281. How are you pleading to that charge?
Okay, so for that, I didn't know that I had insurance.
Right,
Like,
but it's up to the driver in the state of Texas to determine whether they're insured before they take the wheel.
yeah, my mom said that she was gonna fix that because I was driving, but I
Were
didn't
you
know.
driving illegally? Because you're driving illegally. Does she have a policy for that?
No, she knows. No, she knows.
And so what I'm asking you is, if you're pleading not guilty, we can get a jury in here to decide whether or not, but I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not allowed to consider whether you knew or should have known. The question is whether you were covered or not. At trial, that is the only question they get to ask is, were you covered when you were driving? How are you pleading to that charge?
I'm guilty.
Okay. And you are working at this time?
Yeah. No, ma'am, I'm not working.
You're not working at McDonald's?
No, not no more.
What happened with that?
I quit.
Okay. And you're a student at Temple High School
Yes, ma'am.
and you're not at school today?
No, ma'am, because I had court.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and order community service for your ticket fines and costs.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna do 10 court on this one.
Okay.
It does turn into 62 hours of community service.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be due on February 14th.
Okay.
I have a list of places where you can do the work, including the city. If you leave the list, we have a procedure where you need to get that approved before you do that.
Okay.
You need to come by the court today and sign your documents for this process. What time?
Okay.
What time can we look for you to be here?
I can come at like 12.
You live right here. You can't come.
Yeah, I know my brother's gone right now.
Yeah.
My brother's gone.
Okay. We'll see you then.
All right.
All right. You're good to go. Oh, no. No. It's not the whole thing. So moving forward, if I could speak next with, give me just a moment. Irma Casting, can you get on screen and unmute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so, let's see. We're working on a court order that's just a payment plan that has gotten behind.
Yes, ma'am.
It was kind of high. It was $100 every 30 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you working at this time?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay.
I am. would like-
And I'm showing you that you were the only income to the home, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My husband is unemployed and he's a diabetic and he's been very ill. He's usually self-employed, but he has been in the bed most of the time. And I've got back to work about a year and a half of being off and got medical insurance on him, and we're just now getting situated. So it's been kind of tough, but yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I can do is drop this to low payments of $25 a month.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can always pay more and get out from under it faster.
Yes, ma'am.
But it will kind of give you some breathing room.
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like you kind of need that to happen right now.
I do appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. What day of the month is a good day for you?
I typically, because I work for the state of Texas, no later than the 5th of each month. So, yes, ma'am. So that would great. My intentions are to pay it off quicker, but that breathing room would definitely help out until I can get the extra money each month. I'm hoping by February I can pay it off.
Okay, why don't we do this? Let's say $25 a month beginning January 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
All the previous stuff that's gone, we clear that and we start anew. It's like a new canvas, okay?
Yes,
And I just need a signature today. If I email this to you, can you print it, sign it, and email it back?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. All right, Miss Casting, that just changes the direction that we're going. And
I do appreciate it.
yes, ma'am.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Sorry?
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
before we email that, I'm actually going to do a reduction. And so there'll be a different balance. It'll go down just a little bit. It's warranted, I think, under the circumstances.
Thank you.
So I'll take that step here in a few moments. So it might just be a few more longer minutes than normal before we send that over to you. Okay.
I do appreciate it.
All
Yes,
right.
Your Honor.
Miss
Thank you.
Casting, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. On that insurance case, we'll do a reduction of the fund to $25. Okay, and then Brittany Chipman.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I don't think you're feeling very well, but I'm fine.
Yeah, we're battling some kind of flu going on.
Oh, yikes. There's a lot going on. Okay. Let's see. So potentially affecting your income, your illness. So I got an incomplete payment application. You listed no bills of any kind. And then I did receive pleas. Let me just walk through the pleas first. Starting with the no insurance charge. January 31st. A plea had already been entered, I think. Let me double check. Yeah. And so the balance there is $249.50. Then there is a balance on a case that is a speeding charge, and this is from January of 2019, a balance of $375.10. A plea of guilty was already received on a no driver's license charge from January of 2015. The balance is $299.70. A plea of guilty and a finding of guilty January 22nd of 2019 on an invalid license. A non-appearance case from 2009, a balance of $374.90. And then a case, a violation of the promise to appear, January 22nd, 2019 case, a balance of $410.20. And then let me just double check. So, just so you know, you don't have to print all these if it is already been, unless they drop a new letter. And then if it's just the same information over and over, just one, right, duplicates, that can save you some time. but we're good there. I don't mind reviewing it at all. So then, yeah, so I just got the front part of the financial affidavit with the income information. And then,
Yes.
the second part has the girls and everything. So we didn't get that back. So, do you have children in the home or dependents?
I do.
Okay, name them, please.
I have Piper Liner, August Liner, Ethan Liner, and Nathan Liner.
A little bit slower, have a little compassion. I have to write it all out.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm turned all the way up.
Okay.
And what you sent in was incomplete information. So I have two options. I can do this orally, but if you can't hear me, then I just need to reschedule you. And you
Okay.
can call back in and you can fill out the information, when maybe you feel a little bit better and we can get the information from you.
Okay, that works.
Okay, so I'm just going to reschedule this for December 27th. We'll send it back out to you and have you fill it out. There's 2 pages
Okay.
and I need them both.
Okay.
Okay.
And what page are you missing? Because I submitted everything that they emailed me.
We send these together and this one did not come back filled out.
Okay, I'll double check.
I got this. For me, what I got was this,
Okay.
but it's 2 pages and this didn't get sent back. And it's one document, so we resent it, but we'll resend it. Okay. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Seeing no further persons, I am ending